Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Susan Robb of the Customer Data Platform Institute. Thank you for attending today's webinar, Supercharge Your Marketing Reach with Data Enrichment, which is sponsored by ARM Treasure Data. This session is part of the CDP Institute Webinar Series, a continuing series aimed at exploring all aspects of customer data platform technology and applications. Before we begin, let's go over a few housekeeping details. At the bottom of your screen are application widgets, which you can move or resize as needed. You can also expand your slide area or maximize it to full screen by clicking on the arrows in the top right corner. You can submit questions during the webinar through the Q&A widget, and we'll answer later via email. You can download a copy of today's slide deck and any additional materials from the resource list widget on your screen. And lastly, this webinar is available on demand, so you can access it at any time using the same audience link you're using now. Now on to the program. Our speaker today is Micki Collart, who is Senior Product Marketing Manager for ARM Treasure Data. Micki is a seasoned enterprise SaaS marketer with more than 15 years of experience in go-to-market planning, analysis, product introduction, and product marketing. And I'm going to let Micki tell you more about herself. So Micki, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Susan. I'm really happy to be here with the CDP Institute. As Susan mentioned, I'm a Senior Product Marketing Manager here at ARM. And my role here at ARM is really to kind of educate the marketing community a little bit more about customer data platforms. So I'll be taking the next 30 minutes or so to introduce you to the concept of continuous data enrichment. And we'll be doing that for the sake of improving your marketing reach. So my presentation today will walk you through an example of a day in the life of a marketer. We'll discuss some of the challenges that she faces with a new product campaign. And then I'll, of course, introduce you to the concept of data enrichment. And then after that, we'll follow back up with our marketer story, and we'll want to demonstrate how that process of data enrichment can help solve some of the problems this marketer is having. Let's dive right in and take a look at the day in the life of Molly, our campaign manager. So Molly, as I mentioned, she's a marketing campaigns director, and she'll be driving a campaign for a new product introduction. So of course, her objectives in this go-to-market campaign are to drive the initial demand for this new product and any sort of sales targets that the company has. She'll be in charge of her cross-channel coordination between all the groups of specialists that she has. She might be engaging an ad agency, her email group, the social team, and then also be working with the website team and her creative. So there's already been some decisions made with regards to the go-to-market for this new product. And so she's going to have to take some of these decisions into consideration as she starts to plan her campaign. The first is that this new product actually complements current products the company already sells. It's already priced in line with the current offering, so that's always good news. But the one thing that concerns her is the fact that this product will be sold in stores and online, something that their company is starting to experiment with. So Molly, of course, gets down to planning. She's got some campaign decisions that she's got to make. She's going to be making decisions about what her brand kind of connotates out there in the market. She's going to have to make decisions about the creative that she creates with her creative team, and also work with her product marketers around the messaging. She'll need to figure out what her target audience is. She might have a primary audience. She might have a secondary audience. And then, of course, she's used to normal channels that her company uses, right? In the past, she's had experience with TV and radio. She's had a lot of experience with print, social, and email channels as well. So all of these go into consideration for the campaign. So if we start to take a closer look at Molly's decisions that she needs to make here on her campaign, we'll start to zero in a little bit on her objectives and how she's going to manage the campaign overall. Molly's going to want to match the right content to the primary and secondary audience. This really means digging into her targets deeply and understanding why they want to buy this new product. This will be something she'll want to measure and test. She'll understand mid-campaign if there's any of her content or promotions or ad copy that needs to be revised, or if anything is really working as planned. She'll also want to understand where her target audience can be found and how best to reach them. So she'll definitely want to understand, where they shop, how they educate themselves on these new products, similar to the product that her company is launching, of course. And she's going to want to place some bets on which channels will be the most effective. And again, she may even want to test a few things. She may want to hire some new vendors, reach out to partners to augment her current marketing platform, basically extending it beyond the places where her current customers can be found. So, of course, this sounds like a lot of work. Molly knows that she's going to need to get focused, and she knows that once she works out her target audience, she'll be able to make some decisions about where to reach those people. And then she also knows that she can gain a little bit more traction with her audience if she were to tailor those messages and all of that content for every channel that she decides to work through. So she wants to really get focused on making the right decisions about her audience and where to reach them. So here's the really good news. Molly already has kind of that one-stop shop for audience information. So she can really start to dig into her primary audience and maybe do some discovery about a secondary audience. Her team invested in a customer data platform last year, and now they're able to basically access information about all their customer base and even potential customers fairly easily. She can do it herself, or she can ask her analysts to create segments for her. She can report out on past campaign tactics and get a good feeling for how similar audiences to the one that she needs to target have responded in the past to other types of campaigns and to other products like the one that she needs to drive the campaign for. So she knows this new product is in a similar category as other products they sell. So she'll definitely want to leverage the customer data platform to analyze which customers have purchased those similar products in the past and kind of get a view into who they are and how they've interacted with her company in the past. And in this case, they might have signed up for a newsletter, or they could have fit into a very specific demographic category. So with the CDP, the great thing is Molly doesn't have to do a lot of manual work to collect all of this customer data. She doesn't have to wait for her analysts or agencies to get back with her on data dumps from different marketing systems like her email system or social platforms. That data is continuously being collected by the CDP and is made ready. And it's made ready through built-in integrations to basically all of her marketing and advertising systems, as well as having access to offline transactional data such as purchases, which is great. So she has automated ways that this data comes into her system, gets unified, so she knows that she's looking at an individual customer. She doesn't have to deal with duplicate records. She gets that single view of a customer or potential buyer with all the details that she needs: past behaviors, recent responses to campaigns, also great demographic household information attributes like age and interests. So this is really a great way for her to start digging into that primary audience and build the best target audience for her campaign. So with that really deep analysis into who'd purchased kind of similar products in that same category as this new product that she wants to promote, she was able to come up with a really great target profile of her primary audience. So she knows that these people are 25 to 35 years old. They're working moms and dads. They generally live in affluent neighborhoods. And they tend to purchase at local stores that were within, 20 miles or so from their houses. Also, with her CDP, she's able to review any of marketing results from previous campaigns, and she can answer questions like which campaigns drove a specific threshold of click-through or response or redemption on coupons, and which channels were most effective. Through this process, she was able to find out that the majority of her current customers responded to print promotions. They generally shared social posts and clicked on social ads. So she thinks that for the people purchasing in stores, she thinks that these channels are probably the best bets for her new campaign. So she's definitely going to start investing in print and social campaigns. The real challenge for Molly actually comes when she finds out that this particular target audience rarely buys online. So, and remember, with this new product, the company really wants to experiment with product placement in the online stores. They're thinking maybe they can start up listings on Amazon or Walmart and branch out into more digital tactics. So this is going to leave a few questions in her mind for her campaign. How is it going to impact her goals? She knows that these people should look the same as her current customers, but because they have maybe different online behaviors, they could be more dispersed geographically, they could have completely different preferences. So she needs to dig into this problem a little bit. The main question that Molly's going to have to answer is, how does she reach this target audience effectively online? So this leads her to a whole new line of questioning. Because she doesn't know exactly how to reach online customers, she needs to start to scope this out a little bit more. She needs to start to understand when they shop, how often they shop, what online stores are they in, and then most importantly, when they're there, what do they actually search for? How do they find products like this new product in this new category? So Molly's going to have to dig in and probably get a few more data points to answer these questions. So we'll go ahead and pause Molly's story there, and we'll just do a quick sidebar on data enrichment, which of course will be part of the solution to Molly's problem. So what is data enrichment? Well, it's kind of a generic term in the data engineering and science world that refers to enhancing, refining, and improving raw data. So if you were to go and ask your friendly neighborhood data scientist or engineer about data enrichment, they would probably talk to you about it in context of a few other data processes, such as data cleansing, where basically you're taking data and making sure that it's quality. That's the outcome of that process. They also might talk about data transformation. This is where you take data, different pieces, put them together maybe for the sake of a calculation, or potentially change up data types. If you have, say, a Boolean data type that comes into your database and you want to change that into a text field and make it a yes or a no, that's a data transformation. And the outcome of data transformation, of course, is a data analysis process. So when I think about and talk about data enrichment, I think of it as not just a one-time process, as some ETL, extract, transform, and load processes are. So for the sake of maybe analyzing historical data, you might clean data, you might extract data from different places, you may transform it and load it into another database for analysis. But data enrichment is really actually a continuous process. A process where you would take clean, transformed data and then add data to it through an enrichment process in order to create more, better information. So what can you do when you have better information through the process of enrichment? Well, in some cases, you're just adding new audiences or prospects to a database. You also could be adding more demographic or firmographic data to understand your audiences or potential buyers better. Or you could be going through a process of validation, and this is a process whereby you're ensuring that the data that you have is accurate and reflects the person or thing that you want to analyze. So now we'll get back to Molly's story, and we'll discover how Molly puts this process of data enrichment to work for her to find the answers that she needs for the questions that she has. So recall, Molly needs to reach a target audience that rarely buys online. And she already has a really good profile of her primary audience for similar products. So she wants to go back to her analyst, and they want to start taking a look at their own data again. What they find is that they do have some online customers that have some of the same attributes. So for example, they have an online customer base that is 25 to 35 years old that are working moms and dads. So they start to take a look at when those people shop and how often, because they have all of that behavioral data in the customer data platform ready for them to analyze. And they also kind of have a baseline for some of their favorite places to shop online. But again, this is for a totally different category of product. So now they have to look to either a partner or a third-party data provider who can help to start filling some of the gaps of these online shoppers and similar audiences, of course. So they're hoping to find out more about their preferred stores and to validate what they already know about where this target audience shops. But what's really critical here is really to understand what people are searching for when they look for products similar to the new product that they want to promote. So they could guess and probably make some really good educated guesses, but of course, this will take longer for them to test, maybe compile those results, switch up keywords and tactics in the end. They really would rather have some good data that they can dig into to make some more educated guesses. So through a process of reaching out to partners and reaching out to third-party providers, she really finds out that the sources of data out there are pretty broad. Most third-party data providers typically have sources of data that are unique to their business models. Like, for example, she can go to an Equifax or an Experian, and they can provide like credit profiles and reports and employment information. There's also other suppliers like LiveRamp or TapAd, and they can provide identity graphs that give marketers more detail on where people are online, sites that they visit, which devices that they use. And then there's also data management platforms. Her agency uses one, and they can blend behavioral data and demographic data to augment this target audience profile. So she has to do a lot of homework when it comes to really signing on any data provider. She needs to understand where that data is coming from. She needs to ask about the data quality. She wants to be able to validate her ability to match that data to other sources of data that her team already has. And then she absolutely needs to do the work around understanding how that data is collected. She needs to ask all the right questions about consent and privacy compliance around that data. When she's done, of course, she's able to find the data she's sure will answer her questions about how to best reach this new audience. And she has a fresh new data set that will help her with future campaigns. And the need for using it in future campaigns is a really important point, because the last thing she wants to do is finish the analysis for this specific campaign and have it be disconnected from the rest of the other information that she's already compiled and analyzed. She really wants to put this new data to work as part of her day-to-day workflow, so she works with her team to integrate this data into her customer data platform. As you see here, this is her team's process for creating a unified profile within their customer data platform. Now, the objective for getting all of this data integrated is so that they can create a master customer profile, right? Remember, she has that target audience, and she wants to be able to add this online behavior data that she wants to find directly into that master profile. This is essentially the foundation for CDP and what it automates. So they'll go ahead and integrate that new data set alongside the first-party data, and they'll definitely want to validate it in terms of potential matches. Now, they could be doing this through cookie data. They could be also doing this through global IDs that the customer data platform uses, since most of this data is coming in from anonymized third-party sources. So there's big considerations for match rates here, and the higher that match rate is, the more information and data that she's going to have in her master profile. So when she realizes that she's got a pretty good match rate of closer to 80–85%, she's got a great new set of data that she can use. And then her team can essentially rinse and repeat with the same types of analysis and tool sets they're used to. So they don't have to incorporate completely different processes or completely different tools. So Molly's efforts with her data enrichment project really have paid off. And all of her new insights are driving towards more information she has about this target audience. So she's added in some really important behavioral elements to this target audience. She realizes that these folks tend to purchase online during the weekdays, and that they have a tendency to purchase on their mobile devices at least a couple times a month. But her process of data discovery doesn't necessarily have to stop there. There's another element of analysis that can inform Molly's decisions on how to reach this target audience more effectively. And the good news is it's all available to her within the capabilities the CDP has. So if she wants to take her analysis one step further, and given that she has a good set of historical data and a little data science know-how within her organization, she can also utilize machine learning on the CDP platform to actually create predictions on who might, within her target audience, respond favorably to her promotions. Now, this is fairly advanced analytical techniques, but CDPs like Treasure Data actually provide out-of-the-box tool sets for building these types of models. And you can really see where this information becomes invaluable for targeting efforts. They don't leave campaign managers guessing about who to engage or where their efforts and dollars are best spent. So this type of analysis can be done by channel as well, And this is just going to further enhance Molly's decisions about how to reach people and when. Molly's been really, really happy with her results so far. She's able to really quickly incorporate new sources of data, keep them updated on a regular basis, and Molly and her team were able to fill in the blanks and make some of the right decisions for her campaign. So she's going to make decisions around running more social advertising. She wants to be able to target some of these people across the open web through her ad networks. And then she also wants to take advantage of her company's mobile application to send announcements about the new product and provide other introductory content. And last but not least, she can definitely start to optimize her campaign tactics. So remember, she had some critical information about how to best reach her audience. And now she's not spending as much as she had in the past because her ongoing analysis through the customer data platform as she runs these campaigns gives her good information about her interactions and tactics so far. And it's provided some more time-saving insights. She now engages her local store audience with promotions on the weekdays only, while making sure that her online tactics are kind of saved for the weekends. Molly's new data enrichment process has been pretty much a success, and she continues to build an analytics process that will not only help her on future campaigns, but basically enhance the entire company's understanding of her customers overall. I hope you enjoyed Molly's story today and giving you a little bit more insight on the process of continuous data enrichment for the sake of effective reach. Thanks for joining me today.
Thank you, Micki. This is a great help, and I'm glad things turned out so well for Molly. Micki invites everyone with questions on this topic or to learn more about treasure data to contact her at micki@treasuredata.com. Please also visit the CDP Institute at cdpinstitute.org to learn more about our webinars, our programs, and upcoming presentations. We hope you'll join us for more in this webinar series, which you'll find at cdpinstitute.org webinars.